Hey guys, welcome to this presentation of Percona Live. Yeah, okay. So this presentation will be about Presto operator for Kubernetes. Yeah, and I am Hemant Banawat. I work for Yugabyte DB. You can find me at hbanawat@yugabyte.com. I've been working into data industry for long. I worked on in companies like Veritas, VMware, Pivotal, then Snappy Data. Then recently, I had founded a company called Felarica Analytics that got acquired by Yugabyte, and that is how I am with Yugabyte. Okay, so as part of this presentation, the agenda for this would be we would be first going through the what is a Presto operator, what is the various components of an operator. I will give a brief background about that. I will also give a brief background about the Presto, and then we will quickly jump on to how does a Presto operator works, what are the different features of a Presto operator, and then we will move on to a demo. The demo will be primarily about going through the main features of Presto operator, and I will explain how it works. Finally, I would like to end the presentation with the various future work that are possible in this with Presto operator, where the community can help and collaborate and make it more robust. Okay, so Presto operator, a brief background about the Presto operator that I am going to talk about. It is an open source operator for Presto for Kubernetes. You can find it on this GitHub repo. It was developed originally by Felarica Analytics, which I founded. And Felarica Analytics was recently acquired by Yugabyte. Yugabyte DB is an open source distributed data SQL database for multi-cloud, multi-region, environments environments, and it is for internet scale applications which needs low query latency and extreme resilience against failures. So that is what is Yugabyte DB. So yeah. Okay, so to start the discussion, what is an operator? Well, there are two major components of a Kubernetes operator. One is Kubernetes custom resource definition. There are various resource definitions predefined inside Kubernetes. For example, pods is a resource definition, then the services is a resource definition. Kubernetes API allow you to add your own resource definitions to it. For example, you can add Presto as a resource definition inside Kubernetes, right? And that allow Kubernetes gives you a way, the Kubernetes API gives you a way to manage this resource via the administrators or the users, right? Now, the second component of a Kubernetes operator is a reconciler loop. It is a piece of software that is running and continuously monitoring the CRDs, the custom resources that are getting created. So, for example, if you create a resource, the reconciler loop will get to know about it, and then it will take the right actions that it has to take. To go a little deeper into what is a CRD, you can see on the right hand side of this screen, custom resource definition for Prestos. It is the Presto. This is the same custom resource definition that we have written for Presto operator. So it gives you the name of the resource, which is Presto in this case, the plural, which is Prestos, and then the properties, right? It is a pretty huge file and defines all the properties using which a Presto cluster can be managed. Okay, and a little bit about the reconciler loop. Well, for reconciler loop, if you see here, a user makes modifications to a custom resource. So whenever a user makes a, let's say the custom resource definition of a Presto is deployed, now the user goes ahead and create a new Presto cluster, a Presto resource definition or a Presto resource, right? So when a user creates this Presto resource, the Presto operator tracks the changes that are being made to the custom resource. Based on these events, it takes a decision what it has to do. For example, in case of a create, it will take this resource definition and try to create a Presto cluster. When it creates a Presto cluster, it will try to create a Presto coordinator and a Presto worker as separate pods. So that is how it will work. And even after this, if there is any more modifications that a user does, for example, if user goes ahead and changes the number of workers that can be used, the reconciler loop or the operator which is monitoring this particular resource will come to know about it, and based on that it will take an action of adding more workers to the Presto cluster. So if you had 2 Presto workers in the beginning, and with a new change you make it 3, Presto operator will automatically start a new Kubernetes pod, which will be the worker, and it gets connected to the coordinator, right? So the main job of an operator is to monitor the Presto resources. So the main job of Presto operator is to manage the Presto resources and take the right action there. Okay, so what is Presto? Well, Presto is an open source distributed SQL query engine for running interactive analysis. It is very popular because it is an open source tool and really powerful. Presto does not have a storage of its own because it is not a database. It is just a SQL query engine. It allows for querying the data where it lives. It can query the data from Hadoop, it can query the data from Hive, it can query the data from Postgres or anywhere else, right? So it allows the querying of data where it lives. You just need a connector for it to work, right? Presto, given this background, I think Presto can also allow queries which can join the data between 2 different data sources. This is a very powerful construct. So let's say if you have some data in Postgres and some data in Hadoop, and you would like to join them, you can create one catalog for Presto and one catalog for Hadoop, and you can use the query to join the data between these two, right? So all the processing happens inside the Presto servers itself. It just uses data connectors to fetch the data from Hadoop as well as from Postgres. In this, the Presto architecture is a coordinator worker architecture. You have a coordinator which is looking at the query plans and directing the workers to actually do the work. Right? So that is how it works. Okay, so what is a Presto operator? Now a brief background about Presto operator. Well, it manages Presto clusters which are deployed using custom resources. So as we discussed, we have created a custom resource definition for Prestos, and using that you can create Presto clusters. Once these clusters are created, the Presto operators keeps on watching the current state and keeps on reporting about it. Right now, it does not take too many actions apart from auto scaling it up, but in future we can enhance it to add more and more actions to the operator and make it more powerful based on what kind of functionality is needed by Presto clusters. For example, if you have a server and a coordinator and a worker running, and suddenly you have more demand of CPU based on CPU utilization, it will add more workers to this particular cluster. Presto operator enables configuring, creating, managing, and automatically scaling up and down of Presto clusters. Right? So that is where it becomes really useful and is really simple when you have to manage Presto clusters inside Kubernetes. Right? You just have to configure a YAML, and based on that YAML, Presto clusters would be launched, and you can take them down very easily. You can add more workers to it, or you can change the configurations very easily using a YAML. So the YAML becomes a single point of interface for you. Okay, so what are the main features? So given this background, so the Presto operator we now know is the can be used to configure the Presto clusters. You can create one or multiple Presto clusters using a Presto YAML, and you can start them, delete them, you can add services to them or anything. But what are the high level features of Presto operator that you can use, right? So Presto operator allows you to configure services. So whenever you have a service running, a cluster running inside a Kubernetes environment, you want to expose its service to the external user. So let's say it runs on 8080 port. You would like to expose this 8080 port to the clients, so that the clients who are outside the Kubernetes can access this service, right? So you can create a service which can be either a type cluster IP, node port, or a load balancer, and you can use that to interact with the Presto cluster directly. So yeah, that is it. Presto has a concept of catalogs. So let's say you are interacting with Hive and a Postgres instance. You would like to create a Hive catalog, and you would also like to create a Postgres catalog. And using these catalogs, you can interact with them, right? So using the YAML for Presto operator, you can create these catalogs on their own. Next is the HTTPS functionality. Presto server provides a HTTPS functionality, and so does the operator. So operator allows you to pass the certificate as a secret, and that certificate will be used for securing the Presto 8100 port. So yeah, the Presto operator allows the HTTPS support for the coordinator service. Next is auto scaling. Obviously, with Presto, you would like to auto scale up and down when there is a need, because Presto is a long running cluster. So you cannot pre-provision the resources always. You would like to see the current load on the system, and based on that, you would like to scale up or scale down. And that is where this auto scaling works. Within the Presto operator, we used horizontal pod scaling of feature of horizontal pod auto scaling, the HPA feature of Kubernetes, to make this happen. But yeah, only the workers in this case would be auto scaled up and down whenever there is a load on the system. The load on the system is currently being seen via the CPU utilization. So whenever your CPU utilization goes beyond a certain number, the Presto operator automatically adds new workers to the system. Presto operator also allows the graceful shutdown of Presto workers. What does that mean is that there is a script which runs inside the Presto worker. Whenever you start it, a script is running inside the Presto worker, which it pushes. And what the script does is the Presto worker, whenever the Kubernetes asks a worker to stop in case of a scale down, the Presto worker sends a message to the coordinator saying that the script sends the message to the coordinator saying that you need to blacklist this worker, right? But in certain cases, the queries would still be running on the worker, and at that point you would not like to shut down the worker immediately, because if you shut it down, the running queries might fail. So there is a graceful shutdown period. So this script keeps on checking until when the current node is not blacklisted. Once it is blacklisted, it takes the server down. If it does not get blacklisted for a certain time, we can specify the time as part of graceful shutdown. And if that script does not shut down after that interval, then it automatically kills the particular worker. So that is how the graceful shutdown of workers is handled. Also, there would be times when we would like to provide additional volumes to a Presto container. So for example, you might like to ship certain secrets, or you might have a plugin that you would like to add to this. In those cases, there is an option to attach specific volumes to the running Presto, to a pod, right? So whenever a pod is launched, an additional volume is attached to it. This additional volumes is extremely useful in case of a spill directory, because you would like to spill the data that gets generated during the shuffle to a temp storage, and that is where we use the host path to spill this data, right? So this becomes very useful in case of a spill directory, this feature. Okay, so now we have heard a lot. Let's try to do a quick demo here and see what does it look like to work with a Presto operator. Okay. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, so this is the GitHub repository of Presto, as you can see. This is currently under Felarica organization, but yeah, it will either be moved to Yugabyte, or we will see. We are trying to gain more community traction here, so we'll take some steps in that direction. But yeah, the Kubernetes operator, as you can see, this is a discussion about it. So you can deploy it locally, you can deploy the operator locally, or you can deploy the operator in a GKE environment or any other Kubernetes environment. In this demo, we will run it inside a Minikube, right? Okay, so let's see. So I have a Minikube server running here, right? And my Kubernetes config is pointing to that instance. Right. Now, if I see the number of pods running right now, there are only few pods running. Yeah, there is one important thing. Since HPA feature depends on the metric server, we have to enable metric server in all the different Kubernetes clusters. So if you are running in GK, you will have to start a metric server. In Minikube, you have a specific command, Minikube add-on command to add metric server to it. So I have already enabled it. Okay, so now let's start. Okay, I have copied the pasted some commands here to help me, right? Okay, so the first thing that you have to do is you have to configure a CRD. You have to create a custom resource. Let me show you how does this custom resource look like. Okay, so this custom resource looks like this. You have this Presto. The name of the resource is Presto, and these are the additional properties of it, and hence so on and so forth. And now let's say if I apply this thing, kubectl apply -f, and I apply this resource. Okay, so you can see it has already been, this is unchanged right now because I had already applied it. Now if I see kubectl get prestos, okay, so it says that no resources find because no resources were already created for prestos, but you can see that this becomes a top level resource in Kubernetes that you can query. Now, if you see, this is only a custom resource deployment. We have not added the operator running piece of software, which is actually a an operator which will run here. So since nobody is watching this right now, even if you create a Prestos here, it won't make a difference because it won't be launched. For launching this Presto cluster that you create via this resource definition, you need to start a operator, right? So we start the operator using this command. Okay. Now, if you see the pods, the running pods, you can see there is a strd presto operator which is running. And if we try to get the logs of this, you can see it has just started, right? It has a starting. So the loop of this has started. Now, what we can do is, since the operator is running, we can go ahead and create a Kubernetes cluster. But let's see what we are trying to, we can create a Presto cluster. But before we see create, let's see what we are trying to create. We are trying to create a basic Presto cluster in which we have specified the image. The image is something that was already on Docker Hub that I have used. You have to specify the Presto path for it, that on which location the Presto is installed. So I have specified this path here. Then you have to specify what kind of coordinator that you would like to specify, a number of workers, right? And since I'm running on a Minikube, I'm providing very few resources to both the coordinator and the worker, but this won't be there, won't be the same case in production environment. Okay, this is an important part. Here we are creating a service called as load balancer. This load balancer service would help me to expose this port 8100, which is the coordinator port to the external world, right? So now if I see, okay, if kubectl apply -f and I start this thing. Okay, so it says that a cluster has been created. Now, if I, let's say, get Prestos, it shows me that it is trying to create one cluster. There are not many details here because it is it is still initializing it. Let's see what it shows when I describe a Prestos. Okay, so what it says is that this is how this is the details. It is being created by the name of my cluster. The namespace is default. Then yeah, it has since we have not created any catalog config, the catalog config is empty. It is trying to create a coordinator on this address. These are the various events that happen. It created a headless service for internal communication. It created an external service 80 on 8100 port, so on which we will be accessing it right now. Then it created a coordinator config, a worker config, catalog config. It created the replica sets. So these are the steps that this take. If I do it now, you can see that the cluster state is now ready. But what happens is that sometimes the coordinator takes time to start. So what we can do is we can see now the number of pods that are running. If you can see, there is a coordinator pod that is running. So what we can see is we can see kubectl get pods minus a. What I would like to do is I would like to check the logs of the current running coordinator. So yeah, this is what it is right now doing. Okay. Okay, and I don't know, this is kind of, yeah. Okay, so it is still starting. Meanwhile, what we do is we start a Minikube tunnel. We need to start a Minikube tunnel so that we can access the service that we have just launched. So this has created a service which the tunnel is exposing. So this is Minikube specific. You won't have to do it on your original clusters. Okay, so now this cluster is running. Let's try to see it inside our browser, whether on 8100 port is it running. So yeah, you can see there is a cluster that is up and running. Let's try to access this cluster using our Presto CLI. Okay. Oh, I stopped it. Never mind. Okay. So what I have to do is I will start a Presto CLI, which connects to this localhost 8100. And I just say that, okay, I use the default TPCH catalog. And I say use SF1. Okay, it takes a time because this is the first query that gets executed. Now let me see count star nation. This is the smallest table. My cluster is small, so I won't take a risk of running a long query. So I'll just do a count star to show the connectivity. Okay, and meanwhile, if you see, you can see the query that is running here, right? So it is a running query. Okay. Okay, so this will run. Now this was a basic cluster. We now want to explore more advanced features of this cluster. So let's try to have a look at an advanced YAML file. So if you can see this YAML here, if you see that there is a service that I have configured, which points to port number 8100. This was there in the basic as well. I have specifically added certain catalogs here, right? So I specify a Hive catalog which points to this. Currently, this is not functional, but a catalog will get created. Then I say that, okay, on this particular path, you will find the GCS secret. We will create the GCS secret in a moment. Then you say that, okay, this is the name of another catalog, Postgres, and this is how you would like to access it. So this is the coordinate of Postgres. So this content gets stored inside the catalog itself, right? So if you might have seen presto.properties, sorry, tpch.properties or hive.properties file, these contain those file contains this kind of content. Okay, then you can also send certain catalogs using secrets. We'll see that. So if you want to send us a catalog like a secret, you can also do that by specifying the catalog secrets. Then you can specify additional volumes that you would like to attach. For example, we would like to send all the spill data to empty directory, which will be on a local path. So it will go to a Presto spill, which we can mount to a host path. So that we would like to spill all the data to this path. That is what we are saying. So here we are only creating the volume. Okay. And then you can also specify a GCS secret here. We just created a GCS secret and we would like to mount it on this location. So what we say is that a GCS secret has to be created externally. That GCS secret will get mounted here. Okay, the image is same. Coordinator worker are the same, just that we have added now auto scaling to worker. So we say that start with one replica, but go up to 2 replicas, right? So that is what we will say to this. Currently, we are keeping the CPU utilization very low, so 50, because we would like to scale it up pretty quickly. We would not like to wait, right? And then we just say that, okay, the shutdown grace period for the graceful shutdown of the worker, we provide it as 10 seconds. You can also provide additional property files. This demo properties will automatically be shipped to the etc folder because there are multiple files that you would like to create. For example, resource groups dot properties. Then there can be multiple others for authentication and authorization, ranger files and other files that you would like to create, and they all can go via this thing. Okay, so now let me quickly delete the already running cluster. So what I do is I delete the running cluster. It's as easy as running this command. Okay, and then what I have to do is okay, then I have to do this run this command. We have to create tpch secret, right? We have used this tpch secret. We would like to ship this tpch secret as a catalog inside. So let's just try to create these secrets. Okay, and then we also create a gcs secret here. Okay, this gcs secret, if you remember, we had mounted it to /gcs secret path. Okay, then now we say that, okay, apply this YAML. So this will create a cluster for me. And now this cluster creation, if I see kubectl get pods, okay, so these containers are getting created. We can check what is the current get. We can also see the structure. If you see the current, there are one workers and one desired worker and one current worker. In some time, when automatically during the startup, there will be load on the CPUs. So the Kubernetes will automatically scale it up these number of current workers. So we'll see that in a moment. If the Kubernetes does not scale it up, we will run a query to scale it up. Okay. Okay, so that is where we are. Okay, and yeah, so this is starting up, and if I go, let's say get pods, since we can go inside a pod, let's say kubectl exec -it, and we give this pod, we go inside the coordinator pod, and what we see here is, okay, what we see here is inside the opt/presto, the presto folder. If you see, there is a demo.properties file, the file that we created from there, right? Inside the catalog, you can see my tpch properties, right? It has got this tpch connector name. So this file also got shipped. Now, if we go to gcs secret, the additional volume that we added using a secret, sorry, it is inside etc/gcs secret. Okay, and if you cat this file, it will have that my difficult password. So you can see that it has got this my difficult password. Okay. Okay, so this is while being inside this thing. Now let's see whether it automatically scaled up this thing or not. kubectl get prestos. Okay, so since the worker CPU went up, it automatically scaled it up to 2 workers. And if you see it here, it will automatically be 2. So that is how the auto scaling works. Okay. So the second worker might not have got added because it might have been still initializing. So let's see, kubectl get pods -a. Okay, so this one is running. So this has just started 40 seconds, 48 seconds back. So this might be coming up and will get attached to this cluster in a moment or two, right? So I will come back to this. Yeah, so this is the auto scaling and how you can ship the various files here. Okay, yeah, that will come in a moment. But yeah, and there is another file. I don't think I have enough time to go inside that to run that. But there, if you have, let's say, if you would like to configure HTTPS, this is how you configure. You just say that HTTPS enabled, and then you give the Presto key store and key secret name and the password, and you use these commands. You use this command to create the certificate. So this file contains the secret. And this is the key store. So you use this command to create a secret, which you specify in this file, and that is how a HTTPS server can be quickly enabled inside the operator itself. Okay, so Yeah, so that was all about the demo. So let me go back to the presentation now. I don't know, this is kind of okay. Okay, so okay, so now there is a lot of future work that can be done, and we need communities' help here. We need the community to come forward and contribute to it so that we can add these features. So the features are like, you would like to add validations for Presto resource YAML. For that, you will have to start a separate web server along with the operator port, which does the validation. So that work is pending. Currently, we have HTTPS support only for the coordinator endpoint, but for internal TLS, we need some work needs to be done. Right now, the auto scaling properties, auto scaling only happens based on the CPU. We would like to do it based on certain custom properties as well, but that is supported only via the Kubernetes newer APIs. The API that has been used in this one does not support those, so we will have to go to newer APIs of Kubernetes. Yeah, and the permissions of Presto operator, currently we have given all the extensive permissions to Presto operator. We need to review them and see that what all permissions would be provided in a production environment, and we would like to bring it down. Or maybe let's define it, maybe more about documentation, but we need to figure that out. Then we would like how you add newer plugins to Presto, right? You would like to add, let's say, other than the, you have your own database and you would like to add a plugin of that to Presto. Currently that work is pending as part of operator. You would like to ship all the jars and the binaries needed for that plugin inside there. So that work is pending. Refresh catalogs, there has been multiple requests from the community to support this version, but the problem is currently Presto itself does not support refreshing of catalogs unless you stop the Presto cluster and restart it back. So if you have to add new catalogs, you have to stop the Presto cluster. Probably some changes would be needed inside the Presto itself, but yeah, that feature needs to be supported. I'm not sure if they are already added, but recently, I mean, couple of months back, this feature was not there as part of Presto. So yeah, thank you for your time. It was great talking to you all, and I hope we see community coming forward for this particular operator, and we see some momentum here. Thanks a lot.